Today, we're going to talk about something that is so important for any parent advocating for a child with special needs. We're looking at what comes after the school years are over. You know, you've done so much. You've sat through all those meetings, you've learned a whole new language of acronyms, and you've been a fierce champion for your child's education. And that work is absolutely essential.
So you're probably an expert on these by now, right? You've got the IEP, that detailed legal roadmap for special ed, or the 504 plan, making sure all the right accommodations are in place. These are huge victories. They are powerful tools for your child's success inside the school walls. But here's the big question, the one we really have to wrestle with. Because as amazing as those plans are, they have an expiration date, and it's often a really sudden one.
So let's get right into this. We're talking about a critical gap, the space between what school provides and what your child needs for their entire life. Think about it. A school plan's job isn't to handle these things. Once your child turns 18, an IEP doesn't give you the legal authority to make medical decisions. It can't set up a trust to protect their government benefits, and it definitely can't leave a detailed guide for the people who will one day care for them when you can't. And for most, this is the magic number, 21. The day the services, the structure, the legal safety net you've relied on for years just vanishes. It's often called the services cliff, and it can feel like you're just falling if you're not prepared for what's at the bottom. So just pause and think about that. If there is an emergency tomorrow, who can legally talk to the doctors? Who's in charge of the money? If you don't have a plan, the answer to that question is nobody's really sure, and that is a scary place to be. And that uncertainty, that lack of a clear answer, it can spiral into a much bigger problem. Because not having a plan isn't a passive choice. It's actually a decision that can create a full-blown crisis down the road. See, when you don't act, you leave this vacuum, and something will always rush in to fill it. Usually, it's the court system, a system that has no idea who you are, who your child is, or what your family wants. And this is the really tough part. If there's no legally named guardian, a judge has to pick someone, and that might not be the person you'd want. You could even have family members fighting each other in court, spending tons of money, all while your child is stuck right in the middle. Then there's this devastating financial trap. So many critical benefits, like SSI and Medicaid, have incredibly strict asset limits. We're talking often as low as $2,000. So if you leave even a small inheritance directly to your child, poof, they're instantly disqualified. The very money that was supposed to help them ends up taking away their healthcare and their income. It's a disaster. And if you look at the cost, it's just no contest. Trying to fix things in a crisis, going to court for an emergency guardianship, fighting over benefits, it costs so much more. Not just in legal fees, but in time and pure emotional stress than just putting a solid plan in place from the start. Okay, but here's the good news. There is a way forward. So let's shift from the problems to the solution, a real comprehensive approach that's built for exactly these kinds of challenges. It's called a life and legacy plan, and it's designed specifically to fill all those gaps we were just talking about. This isn't about school. This is about their entire life. It's a legal and financial structure that gives you security and peace of mind for the long haul. So what does it look like? Well, it rests on 4 key pillars. First, you ensure care by having the right legal documents. Second, you protect those crucial benefits with a special kind of trust. Third, you guide future caregivers with all of your priceless day-to-day knowledge. And fourth, you empower first responders to get the information they need in an emergency. When we talk about money, there are really 2 paths you can take. You can go the direct inheritance route, which, as we saw, often leads to losing benefits and creating instability. Or you can use a special needs trust. This tool is designed to work alongside government benefits, paying for things that enhance quality of life, maybe things like hobbies, a vacation, or a better place to live, without ever putting that essential safety net at risk. But you know, a really well thought out plan does more than just protect one child. It actually looks out for everyone. It's about creating a sense of security and harmony for the entire family. And we have to talk about the siblings. There's often this silent pressure on them to be the easy one, to never cause any trouble. They can carry this huge weight, and it can lead to real anxiety and depression down the line if we're not careful. The good news is, you can do so much to support them. Make that one-on-one time sacred. Create a space where they can be totally honest about how they feel, even when it's messy. Cheer them on in their own unique hobbies and successes. And this last one, this is huge. Your plan needs to make it crystal clear that their job is to be a loving brother or sister, not a future caregiver out of obligation.
And when you do that, you're giving them an incredible gift. A proper plan frees your other children from that unspoken burden, so they can go build their own amazing lives without feeling guilty and still have a wonderful, healthy relationship with their sibling. Now, pulling all this together, it takes the right partner. You don't want a generalist. You need to find an advisor who lives and breathes this stuff, who has that special needs expertise. Someone who is transparent about pricing, who sees this as a long-term relationship, not a one-time transaction, and who really gets the dynamics of your whole family.
Because in the end, this is so much more than just a stack of legal documents. This is the final chapter of your advocacy. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you've built a fortress of care and security that will last a lifetime. It is, truly, a legacy of love. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Your plan is a message to the future. What will yours say about the life you dream of for your child? Thanks so much for being here.